That's stupid. Too many genders on Facebook. But before we go there, a bit of perspective. I will admit that I can't really relate to the desire to have a gender different from your biological sex, since I am what the hip PC kids nowadays call a cis male, aka a heterosexual guy whose sex and gender align. The vanilla version, so to speak, or the biological default, whatever you want to call it. But you don't need to be queer to know the feeling of being unhappy with the cards life has dealt you. I am pretty sure even if we ignore all the skills that one can actually learn due to hard work and practice, like drawing, video production, body strength and so on, and only focus on aspects that are literally unchangeable under normal circumstances, height, good looks, sex, you name it. I am still convinced that the vast majority of you can relate to this feeling of wishfulness. For many people, those unfulfilled desires lead to a lot of pain throughout their entire life, and they are often on an everlasting search for happiness. They constantly look for compensations and/or distractions from their experienced shortcomings. This is why I think that it is a great thing that some people out there nowadays have the option to get at least a partial bonus to their happiness by allowing them to choose a gender that reflects their self-identity so they feel more in harmony with themselves. I support people identifying as whatever gender they want, no matter if gender fluid, trans person or even two-spirit, because it doesn't harm me or anybody else, but has the potential to help those who don't identify with their biological sex to feel happier with themselves. Well, enough of my dirty lefty-loving liberalism, because now it is time to pull the handbrake on the unconditional choose your own gender support and apply a bit of common sense to the formula, because some people seem to have left that behind somewhere down the road. What I am talking about is when Facebook went completely nuts a few years ago and included 71 genders to choose from on the profile page. There are 3 things wrong with this. Number 1. As a system administrator, I can tell you from first-hand experience that presenting the user with too many choices they have to pick from is a bad user experience and should be avoided as hell. Facebook mostly circumvents this issue by incorporating their 71 genders as mere suggestions for the text field in the custom gender option instead of a bottomless pick list. However, traces of this issue are still there and get pretty obvious with Number 2. The ridiculous redundancies. Okay, let's keep it simple and assume that I, as a good ally, want to express my support to the movement by branding myself with the cis label. Why a movement that is fighting so hard against labels is so obsessed with creating new ones itself is something I will probably never understand. So when I start typing cis into the custom field, I get to choose from cis male, cis man, cisgender man, cisgender male, plus of course for me personally irrelevant cis female, cis woman, cisgender female, cisgender woman. And this is not even accounting for the options of men and women that are also among the custom genders. The fuck? Okay, I get that while we're on the topic of self-expression, it seems like the next logical step to also introduce nuances. But if you manage to overcomplicate the simple matter of allowing allies to express their cisness like that, you fail. Before I pick the wrong version of cis with penis that might carry some hidden subtext, I'd rather stick to the uncustomized default of male, which carries the subtext I can subscribe to, namely, I prefer a simple solution. That's exactly what I did. Now, if you think 7 different custom labels per sex to express that you have a common sex is unnecessarily confusing, behold what trans people have to endure. Not less than 19 different options saying trans. For one direction only. Female, male and neutral combined have at least 32 different values. I say at least because I don't know all the listed genders and there might be even more, meaning basically transsexual or transgender. At the point when you include fancy ways of spelling like M2F for male to female, maybe you should consider making it an open text field. But wait! That is exactly what they did! They included 13 different ways to say trans woman in a field that is already freeform. Sorry, but that's stupid. Include one version of transsexual and of transgender for male, woman and a neutral term like person as your regular suggestions, and everything beyond is covered by the freeform nature of the field. Otherwise you run into issue number 3. You can't please everybody. Keep in mind, trans people make up 0.5% of the population, and you already serve this 0.5% with the custom text field. By including obscure variations like T*woman, you might make the minority within the minority happy, who could not really identify with just being another trans woman but totally identifies with T*woman. But what about the next smallest micro-minority? Excluding them at this point would basically count as discrimination. And then you face the same issue with the next smallest group, until you reach the individual level. Because with the total freedom of gender identity comes the possibility that people will actually invent their own personal gender, and you literally can't keep up with that. So this leaves either drawing an arbitrary line in the sand in the naive hope that you found a healthy balance, or simply keep it to the basics and let the freeform do the rest. This tactic might also keep you from including nonsense like asexual in a gender list. Asexual is a sexual preference and not a matter of self-identification. Dear Facebook, it is nice of you, you want to show your support for inclusiveness, but if you go about it as clumsy as you did, with a clear focus on quantity rather than quality, you make it very obvious that you are not really wholeheartedly supporting trans people, you are just pandering to them for PR. And that's stupid. Wow, my most controversial video yet. Then again, not really. I honestly can't imagine how this video, mostly focused on criticizing Facebook for a blunt and kind of half-assed PR maneuver that happened to be related to gender politics, can really offend somebody. Then again, the internet. Either way, I really want to hear what your guys' thoughts are on Facebook's custom gender. Until next time, when I tell you why I think prequels are stupid.